I would like to take this time to welcome you to my session. This is creating engaging learning experiences using live video. I'm super excited and super passionate about what we are about to do here. So buckle up because I am going to show you how to create some engaging learning experiences. So my name is Mike Yates. I am the co-founder and chief evangelist for Guide, which is a life skills training app. I'm also employed and I work for an incredible school called Alpha. That this hat is from. At Alpha, we use adaptive learning software to replace direct instruction, so there's more time in the day for us to do all sorts of other special things with kids. We are a physical brick and mortar school, and right now we are executing remote mode. So we are doing plenty of creative things with live video, with video chats, and with the internet, as we always do. So my heart and my passion behind this is to give you, if you are an educator, or even if you are a manager, or if you are a director of training, if you have somebody that you train or work with virtually, is to give you some tools to create an engaging learning experience. One of the things that we know about learning is that there's nothing actually there's nothing special at all about lecture, and generally speaking, most learning experiences are lecture based. And so I'm going to show you how to take that experience past lecture and do something that's actually fun, exciting, and engaging. So let's dive right in. I am going to start by engaging you with a big idea. So this is the big idea, is that you can use live video to innovate your school or training experience. Everybody's remote now. Everybody's using live video. And so I'm going to show you how to do that to up your game, especially if you are an educator in the classroom, because my heart is for students to love school. My heart is for students to love your virtual experience, your remote experience, and your physical experience. And I think this will go a long way and help you out a lot. So here's what we're covering today. We're going to cover how to use live video to create a writer's workshop. We're going to cover how to use live video to create a digital debate. And we're going to talk about how to use live video to create a variety show. One of the coolest things about what I get to do is that I have a weekly variety show called the Alpha Encyclopedia Show that I'm going to introduce you to later on in this chat. So look forward to that. I'm really excited about it as well. So let's dive right in. So there is a couple of benefits to a writer's workshop online, and here they are. The first is that you get some social interaction. So using live video and using live chat to engage students or to engage anybody while you are editing a piece of writing, or while you are creating a document, or while you are working on some sort of like codified bylaws or whatever document you're co-creating, you get some social interaction out of that. Everybody's in their house. We are by ourselves and we want to see other people. This is a good way to not only see, but work with other people. The next benefit is that you get instant feedback. A lot of the times, a student or an employee will submit something and they'll be like, look, I don't know if this is good or not. I wonder how this went. I wonder what my teacher or my superior thinks about this. Well, if you're doing a virtual writing experience, then you can give instant feedback right there on the spot. And the last benefit of this process is, of course, personalization, which is something that I love so much so that I'm giving that an applause. I think personalization is key, especially during a learning experience. And when you are working with students, when you are working with employees and you really want to teach them something, you need them to feel like, one, you are communicating directly to them, and two, you know exactly what their needs are. Because when people have those needs met, they are more open and more susceptible to the lesson or the concept that you are trying to teach. So it's really important that you feel that this learning feels personalized. So I'm going to give you a quick demo um, without any other people on how to use live video to edit a piece of writing. So I got this idea from this sales software, actually, a sales software that is called um, Drift Video. And Drift Video is incredible because what it does is it allows a user um, of the platform to take like a screen share video of what they are looking at, what they're working on, but it also pops your face like down in the corner in a little circle. And I like drift video quite a bit, but the only problem with drift video is that it's all recorded. And so I'm going to walk you through the process of creating a live experience with this sort of like editing thing. So I will go to my Google Drive and I'm going to pull up a document that I may be co-creating with someone. I might be working with a student, I might be working with an employee, I might be working with anybody in the world, and I'm going to create this virtual writers workshop where we are going to co-create together in live time. And so all I'm going to do is pull up whatever document that I am um, working on. Let's say I'm building this Google scavenger hunt. Now, um, when this document is up, ideally a tool for this would be something like a Google Hangout, a Google Meet. It could be, you could use StreamYard, you could use Restream, you could use Ecamm Live to create this live experience. Now, what I'm going to show you right now is how to create something that's very similar to drift video. As a matter of fact, if you look at the display that I have up on the screen right now, where I've got my doc up here, and then I've got my little video right there in the corner, yeah, right there in the corner, that's very, very similar to drift video. Now, what this allows me to do, especially using Ecamm Live like I am right now, what this allows me to do is to interact directly with my users in live time. So if I am broadcasting this to YouTube, then as I talk about this doc and as I highlight things in this doc, a student or an employee will be able to see that. And I'll be able to ask them questions, have them interact with me in the comments. I could, if I'm using a multi-streaming platform that allows for guests, I could have a guest pop on the show and give feedback or get instant feedback. This is very similar to like what Gary Vaynerchuk is doing, and honestly, like a lot of entrepreneurs and people are doing this. They're having these live chats on Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter, and they're inviting people to ask them questions, like do a Q&A online, right? So you turn your editing or your writing experience into like a tea time with Gary Vee, right? In the other thing that you can do is use the Google functionality, right? So if I'm working on some sort of assignment with a student, I will use this comment, right? And I can tag them and I can write whatever comment I need. Now I'm communicating with them verbally, but I'm also writing the comment to them so that they can interact with me through either the comment on YouTube or the comment on the Google Doc itself. You can do this with multiple students all at once. One suggestion that I have, and one way that I love doing this, is that if you have 4 students that are watching your YouTube live video, they've got their Google Docs open, they're watching you on the screen, you're going through, you're highlighting stuff, or you're going through, you're giving instructions, whatever it may be. Give each kid a color, right? Kid 1, you're red. Kid 2, you're blue. Kid 3, you're orange. Kid 4, you're purple. And if they're working on some sort of research paper, have them each write their part of the paper in live time as you broadcast that shared doc live on YouTube. And then have each one swap their colors and have each one edit in live time while you step in and moderate in the background by making comments, by communicating to them through the live video. So what this type of experience does for a writer is, like we talked about before, it helps them with social interaction. It gives them instant feedback and it's personalized, right? You're not having them write somewhere in their house where they're lonely, where they may or may not have help, and then getting to them a day or two later, or maybe even, you know, if you're fast, like an hour later. You're actually giving them feedback right on the spot. You're involving them in the writing process. You are running the most engaging writing experience you can using tools like Ecamm, YouTube Live, and Google Docs, right? So I think the key to this experience is making sure that not only are you keeping your experience engaging, but it's that you're using your tools, you're using technology to create more human moments, which allows you to reach your student or employee or coworker, right? You want to use technology to create more meaningful human moments. And I think that's what's so special about this. So that is a virtual writing circle. One of the other things that you can do before I move away from virtual writing circles is you can use like you can use the this view, um, this exact view to also give a demonstration. If you want to sort of like teach how to write uh, a specific type of paper, how to create a specific type of letterhead, how to do some particular function in Google Docs, then you can have like this short interactive demo experience where you're interacting with the comments and you're executing on that. You can, right, like live Q&A, right? So if someone's like, hey, like you said, I have to have a header, I don't know what the header looks like, hey, don't know how to create the company letterhead, you can catch that in the comments, and then you can do that thing and execute that writing experience right here on the screen. So that is your digital writing experience. It is one that I think is super, super important, and it has lots and lots of benefits. Again, here are the three benefits: social interaction, instant feedback, and personalization. When you are using these digital tools, those three benefits sum up to the fact that you are creating more meaningful human moments. So that is your digital writing circle. So now I'm going to move on. One of the things that I love teaching, I have a chance to work with people with public speaking, with debate, and I love, love, love doing those things. So this next thing is near and dear to my heart, but we are going to talk about digital debating. Yeah, so debate was one of those things that I did in high school, and it was one of the most enriching experiences of my life. And I think it is an interesting way to engage students, particularly, but even people in the professional world around particular learning experiences. You you've heard it said before that you can't that you don't know something if you can't teach it. Teaching is the highest order of learning, right? You've heard these things in many different ways. But one of the things that I actually believe is that you really, really know something when you can debate both sides of that, right? You really, really know how to sell that thing when you can convince someone to buy it, but also talk them out of buying that thing, right? You know everything about that product if you can do both of those things. And I think that's what a digital debate's really, really helpful for, right? So what this looks like for a student is different than what it looks like for a career professional. So I'll start there. What it looks like for a student is one of two things, right? You can use text overlays, right? Like I have these text overlays that I'm using. You can use digital like photos, text overlays. You can screen share a Google Slides presentation that has a specific question or a specific resolution that you want students to debate. If you're a history teacher, I'm sure you've done debates in your class, right? But why not engage students in all content levels, right? All content areas, right? So let's say you are a math teacher. One of the things that I would do as a math teacher is I would pose a question and I would assign sides, pro and con, right? And that question or that statement would be definitive, right? So something like 2 + 2 does not equal 4, right? One side's going to say, well, obviously it equals 4. The other side's going to say, nope, it doesn't always equal 4. 2 + 2 does not always equal 4. So that is one of the most important things that I think you can do is make sure that you have one person on each side of the debate and have a definitive statement, right? Not necessarily a question. You can have a question, but a definitive statement. So 2 + 2 does not always equal 4. And if you're interested in that, base number systems is the answer to that. Not every society on Earth, in the history of the Earth, has always operated on a base 10. Some people operated on base 5, right? Ancient Egyptians operated on base 5 number scale. So technically, there are some numbers that don't exist, right? So like 4 + 4 can't equal 8 in a base 5 because 8 is not a number. But that's numbers theory. Neither here nor there. So engage learners with like a spirited debate, right? You can have them go do research in the background, right? Like you can give them like, hey, like before you show up to this live debate tomorrow, make sure you do research on right Spanish Inquisition, right? Do research on the ancient Mayans, right? Do research on the ancient Egyptians, right? Have them do that legwork before they get there. Make sure that you've done some sort of amount of equipping, but definitely engage students in both sides of an argument, make them debate pro, then switch them to the con. I think digital debates are really, really important. And the way that you can do this, you can do this on a Google Hangout, you can do this on a Google Chat. You can do this in a number of different ways online, and sort of like the way that I think this works, like for the business world, is I think that you would you would use like the same format of debate, right? So if you're on like a StreamYard and you have two students and a moderator, right, and they're debating, or two people and a moderator, then you can actually have the audience pose questions to them in the comments. So I think that's really important, is to make sure that, like, especially like if you're in a classroom setting and you got 20 kids that you need to engage, there's only going to be two or maybe four at the max debating at one time. But you need to engage the audience by having them come up with insightful questions and ask those questions for your debaters to answer. If you're looking for the type of debate that this is called public forum debate. So you're essentially doing a digital version of public forum debate, the way that you would see them done at a city hall, the way that you'd see them done. Like sometimes they have like events like the public library where people come up with arguments on each side of an issue. They present them, and then and then and then they take questions from the audience. I think the important thing here is to engage in the live discussion both ways, right? So have the discussion that's happening via the live chat format, the live video format, and then have the discussion that's happening from the live video format to the comments, right? And back to there. So I think that that's really, really important. And more than that, it's more fun than sitting down and listening to a lecture. It's more fun than watching a training video, right? It is more engaging and exciting. So engage your students or your folks in a digital debate. Here are some of the benefits, yet again, from digital debate. One, you get social interaction. You literally get people talking to each other via live video. Two, you get real-time skills acquisition, right? So you have the opportunity to stop and coach, not necessarily like for the world of academia or school. You don't necessarily want to stop and coach them on like debate technique. You can do that if you're a debate teacher, if you have a debate background, but you want to stop and coach on the historical or the content-based part that they might be missing or tripping out on, right? That's an example of letting them fail and correcting the failure and learning from that failure. So I think you can do that in live time when you have a debate going on. And the last thing is that people love to compete, right? It's like competition is a way to engage a learner or engage a participant in a way that they otherwise would not be engaged. So I think that that's really, really important, is that you're teaching skills lifetime. You're giving people an opportunity for social interaction, and you are allowing them to engage a part of themselves that most people really, really enjoy, which is competition. Now, people may be nervous for this, so for students, it's definitely going to take prep. This takes work before you show up on the live debating and streaming platform. But I think this is so worth it, and I think it's a really, really great way to engage learners online with something other than lecture, right? So that is digital debating again. One more time, you get social interaction, real time life skills acquisition, and then you get people who love to compete against each other. Now, the last thing, now the last thing that we are going to cover in this session today is something that I actually think is really, really exciting, and I think it's a key to engaging students in online learning experiences outside of lecture. So I think it's really important that to create a digital learning experience and to create any modicum of like normalcy for students, you have to create a cultural element around whatever you're doing. So right now, due to the COVID-19 crisis, everybody's fragmented, and for the first time in history, we are not allowed to physically be in the same place, or it's like heavily discouraged for us to physically be in the same place. And so because of that, it is incumbent upon us, your teacher, your manager, your higher up, whoever's designing these experiences, it is important for us to create ways to connect across a space and to close that physical gap with some sort of cultural element. So what I have had a chance to do is I've had a chance at the school where I work. I work at a school called Alpha, which I told you guys about earlier, and I've had the chance to create a variety show. So I was tasked with creating this variety show that I have called the Alpha Encyclopedia Show, and it's been a blast. I am working on the third episode this week. It's going to air every Friday on my YouTube channel at 3:30. And here's why this is so special: because we have students in our school that cannot interact with each other physically. They can text, they can call, they can get on a Google Hangout, they can play video games together, but they cannot interact with each other physically. And if you know anything about school or people in general, is that people need to be around other people. This is why people start families. This is why people have friend groups. This is why people go to social events. This is why they go to the gym as opposed to working out by themselves all the time, right? People need other people. Students are no different. And so we were charged and tasked with finding a way for staff to penetrate the virtual space to reach students in a way that maybe nobody's doing right now, or maybe that the student hasn't experienced yet. And so the thing that we did was the Alpha Encyclopedia Show. And essentially, that's a show that I create where I get to be goofy and I get to be silly and I get to be creative and I get to create the wackiest like show that's sort of like, if you think about like America's Funniest Home Videos mixed with like Between Two Ferns, and if you were a fan of the Tiny Tiny Talk Show, like those like smashed up together in one show. 15-minute episodes where our kids don't have to think about anything but what's going on that camera. Me acting crazy, them laughing. They submit dance challenges. They submit like ideas, like suggestions. I have celebrity interviews, but I'll just actually show you the bumper for the Alpha Encyclopedia Show really, really quickly.
Oh, hey. Hey, well, welcome to the Alpha Encyclopedia Show. I don't know about you, but I have had a fantastic quarantine period so far. Fantastic. But what is the Encyclopedia Show? I am glad you asked. This time is a time for you, yes, you to get away from work, to get away from everything that's going on in the world and just laugh. Think of this show like America's Funniest Home Videos mixed with Between Two Ferns.
Well, you know, you can't skate on your looks alone.
It's mixed with a tiny miniature talk show. I'm gonna be interviewing some folks. We're gonna be watching funny dance videos. In the car, going in the car. Trick videos, fail videos. I'm gonna issue you challenges. And I'm gonna take submissions from you. The Encyclopedia Show is coming right at you. Oh, wait. I got one more thing. We're also announcing Beast of the week.
So that is just this goofy and silly show that we put on every single Friday at 3:30. We go live on YouTube with that show, and students are interacting in the comments. I'm asking the questions. They're giving shout outs. I'm shouting them out for stuff that they did during the week. It is an absolute blast. But here's why I think that's so important, and here's why I included it in this, because like we said before, it is vital for us to engage students in things that are cultural, that don't necessarily have anything to do with the content, to give them some sort of sense of normalcy. If you are a school and you have the fortune of all of your students having a device and internet, then I believe that there's no reason why you cannot and should not engage them in something like this. And so here's my suggestion for you. So what I do is I jump on StreamYard and I create slides in Canva. I create graphics. I create videos. I edit together fake interviews of me and Kanye West or me and Drake, right? Something that I know that my students are going to relate to. And I splice that together in a show. I let multiple people get eyes on it to make sure that it's really funny. I will often call my wife into the room and say, like, hey, is this funny? Like, tell me, is it funny? Yes or no, so I can get rid of it or I can keep it. But I think that the main thing to understand about what I'm doing with the show is I'm making sure that it is the production quality is really, really high. That students can literally forget about what's going on in the world, because right now is a scary time and they can laugh. I think for your company, right, for your the staff that you're working with, I think it's really important for you to create some sort of cultural element. And I think the key to this, and one of the most important parts of the Encyclopedia show, is the inside jokes. So if you're going to create some sort of variety show, some sort of web series, I think you have to create jokes that only you and your people understand, because that is what's going to bond them. And so that's a great example, in my opinion, of using a virtual live experience to engage a learner, adult or child, in an experience that is beneficial for them, that is not lecture. There are enough platforms where people are just talking at the screen. LinkedIn Live, Coursera, like everybody thinks the same thing about learning. I call this the 100-year dilemma. That is not during this session. We'll talk about that later. But I call that the 100-year dilemma. We have been teaching and learning the same for over 100 years. And I think this, while not conventional, is definitely a way for you to engage your learners with something that is just fun. And so I've been talking about benefits of all these three things. And so here are the major benefits of doing a variety show. The first is that it's something different. It's a change of pace. What we're going to find is that remote work is going to start to feel really routine for many. And to have something that's different that they can look forward to at the end of the week is going to be a game changer. A game changer. The second thing is you get to engage, you get to relax, you get to laugh. People love those things, right? I mean, like the invention of television was so important, because people would come home from work, they'd come home from school, they'd sit on the couch and they would do these three things: engage, relax, and laugh, right? That's why this sitcom was so successful. And then again, it is a point of connection. Make sure that when you are creating this solution, you are not just creating something that's funny, you're creating something that is personal, where you are looking through the camera to that person who's watching you on YouTube Live, or who's watching you on Facebook Live, or who's watching you, or who's streaming with you, right, on StreamYard. You're communicating through the camera to that person. And when you do that, you're saying a couple things to them, right? You're saying, like, hey, you're valuable. Yo, I see you. Hey, let's relax. Hey, we're in this together, right? So I think that's why that's so important. You want to make sure that you're making a personal connection. You want to make sure that you're using the contents of that show to connect your larger audience, your larger staff, your larger student body, right? Your larger community. It's so important, and it's super engaging, and it is not lecture. So I want to thank you guys for watching and sticking with me to the end of this video, in this session. Feel free to connect with me. My website links are there, yatesmike.com. I do quite a bit of public speaking consulting, some education consulting as well. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Spend a lot of time there. You can connect with me on Twitter. And of course, if you want to learn more about what we do at Guide, you can go to guideapp.co, um, and feel free to reach out to me anytime. Thank you so much. It has been a blast sharing this stuff with you.